New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy, back on the program. How you doing today, sir?
I'm hanging in, guys. How about you all?
Oh, man, same. Just trying to communicate the information, trying to, make sure that we let the people know how crazy the situation is out here.
Yep. Do you want me to give you a quick summary of what we're looking at in Jersey? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Please give us an update.
So we got, as of yesterday, 4,400 positive tests and 62 precious lives that have been lost. And the numbers are going up dramatically. On positive test side, we expected that, and we warned folks that would be the case. In fact, sadly, we did as well with fatalities. But on the positive test side, it's going up as dramatically as it's been going up for two reasons. One is, to some extent, the community spread, but to a far bigger extent, we're opening up our testing regime. So Weequahic Park today, for instance, in Newark, is opened up as yet another testing site. So those numbers are going to continue to go up. The silver lining on the numbers of positives is that it gives the experts a lot more data that they can then more intelligently use to push back on this. I know you guys have been talking about it this morning, and every morning we are all in on stay at home, social distancing. We have to flatten the curve, break the back of this damn virus. And then once we've done that, we can slowly but surely start getting back on our feet.
Now, this weekend, I've been saying this morning, and I know as leadership, and we just were debating, not debating, but discussing this with public advocate for New York City, Jumaane Williams. As leadership, a lot of the tone is a hopeful tone, even in what you just said, hoping to flatten the curve, hoping. Yep. But this weekend, I believe, will be one of the most tragic weekends that I don't think anybody's ever imagined before. We're going to see numbers of not only cases, but deaths dramatically increase.
Yeah, and particularly we're not at New York's level, but they are the canary in the coal mine for the rest of us. Yeah, listen, I think the balance has got to shoot straight with people, tell them the truth. Obviously, there is hope on the horizon. We just don't know when that is. But hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Let's not be fooling each other right now. This is a war. No time to panic, but boy, it's a war. We got to be smart, aggressive, work our tails off, show courage, and know that the numbers are getting worse before they get better.
Now, has the daily press conferences from the president made things better or worse for you communicating and getting people to understand how serious this is?
Listen, I need him. I need the vice president. We need the federal government. We need the White House. I said to somebody earlier, I don't get the luxury of waking up every morning picking President X or President Y. It's this president. His team, for the most part, has been very good to deal with, I have to say. He and I have had also, he's helped me out approving standing up 4 field hospitals. That's 1,000 beds that we don't have, that we will have soon, that the Army Corps and FEMA are setting up for us. We're desperately short of personal protective equipment. We need more out of the federal government. They've given us 2 installments of our ask, which we are grateful for, but we need a lot more. So listen, it's like everything else in life, you try when you're in something like this, when you're in a war, as we are, you're trying like heck every moment to find common ground. I will say this though, we are complete disciples of making decisions based on the facts, based on science, based on the data, based on the medical and health inputs we're getting. And I know there's some talk from the White House about optimism around being able to slowly open up again around April 12th. I'll be the happiest guy in New Jersey, maybe in America, if that's the case. But sadly, I think the data is suggesting to us we're not going to be there. And I think the worst thing we could do is to transpose opening of the economy with cracking the back of the virus. The order has got to be flatten the curve, reduce the cases, aggressively attack that virus. That's first. Opening the economy, opening society slowly, surely, responsibly, only then can come.
Governor, what about these conversations that you have with the president? How do they play out? Do you sit there and say, let me tell you what I'm dealing with in New Jersey. Let me tell you what I need. How do those conversations go?
Yeah, it's pretty fact-based. So the conversation, I guess I spoke with him a couple of days ago. I was on with the vice president yesterday, the secretary of the Treasury last night. Very fact-based. Mr. President, these are our asks. Boom, boom, boom. And then we have either yay. No one. I guess to the credit of it, I rarely get hell no. We're not going to do that. But occasionally it'll be, listen, we'll help you. We can't help you at the level you're asking. But it's fact-based. There's not a lot of noise in the conversation.
Yeah, no, it seems to be pretty straightforward from everything that we've heard from leadership like yourself dealing with the White House and dealing with the president. I think the frustrating part is for those of us in the media that are trying to watch the press conferences on TV and get clear information that we can share that is fact-based. Yeah. That's the challenge.
Yeah, you had one press conference, I guess, was it 2 days ago, and inside the same press conference, the president was expressing hope that, around, as I mentioned, around Easter, that we'd be able to begin to open up. I hope he's right, but we don't see it. But put that aside, in the same press conference, one of his colleagues said, if you've been in New York, you got to self-quarantine for 14 days. So those are very different impulses, and I can appreciate what you're saying. Again, we're gonna err on the side of basing our decisions and policies on the facts that are presented to us.
Well, you as a man who comes from the financial world, okay?
Yes, a recovering banker.
Yes. Tell us what this $2 trillion stimulus package means for everyday people.
It's a big deal. I mean, it's not everything. I said yesterday, let's not let the perfect be the enemy of the good, but it's direct cash to people. It's a big slug of unemployment insurance expansion. It's a big amount to small businesses, hospitals, transit systems. We need desperately. I mean, we're hemorrhaging money as a state because we're at the front lines helping folks who are sick, out of work, small businesses, et cetera. We need direct federal cash. It's got some of that, maybe not nearly what we're going to need eventually, but there's a jolt of that. I mean, is all of that good for markets? Yeah, I think it looks like it has been the past couple of days. Far more importantly, it's a very good step for Americans, particularly those who have been impacted. Our small businesses have been crushed. Our unemployment rate is going through the roof, and this will help that. It's not everything, but it will help without question.
Governor, the exact numbers came in, 3.3 million unemployment claims last week. It's the most in history.
My Lord. I didn't see that. Did you say that was the most ever, Laura?
Yes, it's the most in history.
Well, yeah, it's the most in history, and it's also in the course of a week. Yeah,
listen, I'm not surprised. Our system crashed with folks who had lost their jobs signing up for unemployment insurance.
Well, what message do you have for these people who are suffering from anxiety, wondering where their next paycheck is coming?
Yeah, well, again, this federal bill, assuming the House passes it and the president signs it, is a big jolt in the arm. It's cash, literally cash. It's unemployment benefits, so it's a bridge.
So if I'm filed unemployment, and I also make less than the amount of, I think it was $75,000, where it said every person can get $1,200 under $75,000 based on, and that'll be based on your 2018 tax return or your 2019 tax return.
I think plus $500 per child, I believe.
Plus $500 per child. Yeah. I can also get unemployment insurance on top of that?
I believe, yes. I mean, we're still, it's 800 something pages. We're still parsing through it, but I believe the answer is absolutely yes.
And that, according to Mnuchin, would be coming to people's households within 3 weeks of the passing of the bill, which is supposed to be done by the House tomorrow, and the president already said he was going to sign it.
Yeah, I think that's all correct.
Now, talk to me about what this means for small businesses.
Well, there's a huge, again, we're still parsing through it. Small businesses have been crushed. I mean, listen, let me step back if I can and just sort of give you we started meeting on this Corona challenge in January. I formed our whole of government task force on February 2nd, Super Bowl Sunday. I remember it well. So we've been trying to stay out ahead of this. So right from the get-go.
Now, and sidebar, at this time, the president of the United States was still calling it a Democratic hoax.
Yeah, I don't believe that's. I think that sounds like it's right. He wasn't taking the steps. I don't think that we were taking in Jersey.
Got it.
We had two choices right from the get-go. Let the virus just run through the state and society, suffer huge casualties, both sickness and fatalities, and crater the economy, or rip the Band-Aid off, bring this screeching to a halt, make people stay inside, suffer enormous upfront economic pain, but keep the amount of folks who get sick and the blessed souls who die at a much lower number, and then by doing so, then start to open the economy again. We have been door number 2 from moment 1. The problem with that, of course, is the economic pain is upfront, right in our face. So small businesses, gyms, theaters, big businesses, casinos, restaurants, bars, all shut in New Jersey. Takeout only, delivery only. So you've got enormous casualties in the small business community. The federal bill has got a $200-something billion of relief for small businesses. We're doing everything we can, but there's no amount of money any state, Jersey or any other state, has got to be able to do it on their own. So that's why this bill is a huge deal for small businesses.
If you're paying rent, mortgage, and this goes to people who own buildings where there's renters, or people who have mortgages, we've been trying to communicate to the audience that just because they say your mortgage or your rent has been suspended, that doesn't mean that they're not going to bill you, which means that you will get a bill once the government says that everything's back open again. What is a person supposed to do that hasn't been making any money, that gets the stimulus money or unemployment, and is still on the hook for money that is just gone? How do you...
Listen, I had a meeting with my team last night, and we are looking. This comes up morning, noon, and night. I'm renting. What's the responsibility of the landlord to do the right thing right now? I've got a mortgage. I own my house. What's the responsibility of the mortgage bank? We've been able to push a lot of daylight into the system, and that's an area that we've got to aggressively get daylight in right now. So, for instance, in New Jersey, I signed a law you can't be foreclosed on right now. You cannot be foreclosed. You cannot be evicted, period. None of the utilities could shut your service off for any reason. If your driver's license is expiring, we're giving you more time. We've got to do something similar. I just don't have a crisp answer as to exactly what it's going to be if you're a renter or a mortgage payer.
So over the next days and weeks, hopefully your people in your position, more governors, and hopefully at the federal level will be able to address, because I guarantee you on day one, that first week, when people get back to quote unquote normal, whenever that is, bills are going to start flying in that are going to have these added costs in them from people not being able to pay, and they're not going to have an answer unless you guys get out ahead of it.
Yep, that's all there, and we can't let that happen. And again, we've had success in a bunch of, another area, healthcare copays to get tested for corona. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we've been able to do, and the list is long, but we've got to give people the sense that, you know what, they're not going to get ambushed when we start getting them back on our feet.
Well, there he is. He's a straight talker, and we appreciate that. You're becoming a friend of the show, Governor Murphy.
You're very close.
I love you guys. I want to, at some point, maybe in an afterlife, after I'm out of this position, I would like to be able to audition to get in, sit at that table.
I mean, what would you bring into the program every day? What would you like to talk about? Dr. Dre's The Chronic being put into the, what is it called? The Smithsonian or something?
An American classic.
That's right.
I want to nominate you this show.
Listen, this guy's really campaigning for a gig. You guys, Governor Phil Murphy, we will check in with you next week and get an update.
Thank you,
I just want everyone that can hear my voice, this weekend will be very tough. There's no way around it. The numbers you're going to see in both cases and deaths is going to go up dramatically, exponentially.
Plus that feeling that the weekends bring in general, if you get to Saturday and Saturday feels just like Friday. So there's a mental part that's really tiring as well.
Yeah. All we have is really, as Governor Murphy put it, all we really have is each other and the power to stay out of the way and stay inside and stay, a distance from our neighbors and the public and stay safe.
Ebro, I can't, you said it better than I could ever hope to say it. The one last thing, we're going to get through this. It's not unscathed, not without casualties who've already lost blessed souls. It's going to get worse before it's better. But if we all do our part, we will get through this.
Governor
Thank you,
Phil
Governor.
Murphy, thank you for your time.
God bless you, folks.
Take care.
Take care.